Imagine a life where external judgments, negativity, and criticism no longer disturb your inner peace. A state of being where you remain unaffected by the chaos around you, much like a lotus flower that blooms unsullied in muddy waters. Although it may seem difficult to reach that level, does that mean ordinary people cannot attain such a state? Join Mindful Healing as we explore what makes it challenging and how we can train ourselves to gradually achieve this state. This is not a fantasy, but a practice deeply rooted in Buddhist philosophy. In this video, we will uncover 8 transformative Buddhist principles that empower us to navigate life with unwavering tranquility. These lessons, drawn from ancient teachings, are not just abstract ideals, but practical tools that, when applied, can lead to a truly peaceful and fulfilling existence. Mindful Healing welcomes you and is honored to continue accompanying you on today's journey. Mindful Healing welcomes you and is honored to continue accompanying you on today's journey. Principle 1. Let go of hate. It is human nature to feel hurt when others judge, criticize, or show hostility toward us. But does responding with hate serve us? In Buddhism, we learn that hate is like a burning coal. While we intend to throw it at another, we end up burning ourselves first. There is a famous story of the Buddha and an angry man. One day, a man approached the Buddha and began hurling insults at him. The Buddha remained calm and did not react. After a while, the man asked, "Why do you not respond to my anger?" The Buddha simply smiled and replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The true path to peace lies not in returning hate with hate. Those who carry hatred in their hearts are often struggling with their own pain, fears, and misunderstandings. They try to unload their inner turmoil by projecting negativity onto others. But here's the paradox. Why should we waste our precious time and energy hating someone who isn't even worthy of occupying space in our minds? Letting go of hatred does not mean condoning harmful behavior. It means recognizing that holding on to resentment only harms us. It clouds our mind, disturbs our peace, and pulls us away from our true purpose in life. So, let us follow the wisdom of the Buddha and rise above hatred. Don't squander your energy on those who wish to hurt you. Instead, focus on cultivating compassion, inner peace, and a meaningful life. Cultivating compassion, patience, and love in our hearts is the true path to liberation, one that frees us from the noise of hatred and allows us to walk in peace, unaffected by negativity. Principle 2. Embrace humility. Humility is not about thinking less of yourself, it's about thinking of yourself less. The truly wise do not seek validation through words, but through their actions. A great Zen master once said, "A full cup cannot receive more water." When we believe we know everything, we stop learning. Humility is a virtue often misunderstood in today's world, where success and achievement are overly glorified. Being humble doesn't mean lowering yourself, pretending you know nothing, or hiding your accomplishments. It is not about insecurity or false modesty. A truly wise person does not seek attention through eloquent words or grand gestures. Instead, they move through the world with an open heart, knowing they don't have all the answers, but always remaining willing to learn and grow. Being humble without feeling inferior requires a balance between confidence and awareness of one's own limitations. Some key ways to practice humility include truly listening to others, not interrupting or trying to prove that you know more. Take a moment to slow down, acknowledge their perspective, and then share your thoughts. Being open to admitting mistakes and improving, without diminishing your own worth. Learn from failures and take the initiative to find solutions rather than dwelling on errors. Sharing knowledge without showing off, teaching with patience, and guiding others as a supportive companion, not as someone who speaks from a place of superiority. There are many more ways to cultivate humility. If you're interested, leave your suggestions and we'll create a dedicated video on this topic. Humility opens the door to continuous growth. To cultivate wisdom, practice deep listening, admit when you are wrong, and remain open to learning from everyone, regardless of their status. Principle 3. Take control of your own life. Your life is like a journey through an uncharted forest. Many will offer advice, but ultimately, the path you take is yours alone. If we allow others to control our lives, we will never truly live in alignment with our authentic selves. We will constantly chase the expectations and desires of others, forgetting the inner voice that calls us toward our true path. This does not mean we should ignore all advice or feedback, but rather that we must learn to discern wisely, listening with mindfulness, and only embracing what genuinely contributes to our growth. Remember, you alone are responsible for your happiness and suffering. Other people's opinions are just opinions. They do not define your true worth. Living true to yourself, rather than striving to please others, is the path to genuine freedom and inner peace. Trust yourself, walk your path with confidence, and live a life guided by wisdom and compassion. Principle 4, listen more, speak less. The Buddha taught that deep understanding comes from active listening. When we listen more than we speak, we cultivate compassion and insight. Most people listen to reply rather than to understand. But true listening involves being fully present, absorbing the essence of another's words, and responding with genuine empathy. The key to truly listening is this: when someone is speaking to you, set aside any distracting thoughts and give them your full attention. Don't think about other things or plan your response while they're talking. Focus not only on their words, but also on their body language and emotions. Avoid interrupting or jumping in with your opinion too quickly. When they finish speaking, take a moment to pause and reflect on what they've shared before responding. Repeat or rephrase what they said to ensure that you understand them correctly. For example, when a friend shares a difficult problem, instead of just nodding while your mind wanders elsewhere, or worse, giving advice before it's asked for, focus on their words and feelings. This helps them feel truly understood. Principle 5, accept life's impermanence. Suffering arises when we resist the natural flow of life. Acceptance does not mean passivity. It means embracing both joy and sorrow as transient. Impermanence, anicca, is one of the most fundamental and profound concepts in Buddhism. But it's not just a philosophical idea. It's something you can train yourself to accept and embrace in everyday life. Start by recognizing impermanence in the simplest things around you. Notice how the weather changes. Some days are sunny, others are rainy. Observe your own body. Today you may feel full of energy. Tomorrow you might feel tired. Look at the flowers in your garden. Today they bloom beautifully. In a few days they wither. Just as impermanence exists in nature, it also applies to our emotions, time, and relationships. Nothing stays the same. Accepting impermanence to find peace. When we resist impermanence, we suffer. When we accept it, we find peace. Everything in life changes. Our feelings, the people around us, our circumstances, and even ourselves. Appreciate what you have now, let go of what has passed, and embrace what is to come. Accepting impermanence doesn't make us pessimistic. It helps us live more fully. Realizing impermanence also reduces anger and resentment toward others. When we understand that people, like everything else, are constantly changing, we become more patient, compassionate, and forgiving. Principle 6, be mindful of material attachments. As the Buddha taught, health is the greatest gift. Contentment is the greatest wealth. Loyalty is the best relationship. These profound words remind us that true fulfillment does not come from accumulating material possessions, but from living a simple, grateful life and nurturing meaningful connections. Wealth, when misunderstood, can become an invisible chain. When we have little, we crave more. When we have more, we fear losing it. This endless cycle of desire and anxiety keeps our minds restless, never allowing us to experience true peace. Wealth itself does not bring inner peace unless we have the wisdom to see it correctly. Why do people suffer despite having wealth? It fuels greed. The more we have, the more we want, never feeling truly satisfied. It distances us from life's true values. We may become so consumed with acquiring wealth that we forget about family, friendships, health, and spiritual well-being. It creates insecurity. When we tie our self-worth to possessions, we live in constant fear of losing them. The Buddha did not teach that we must abandon all material wealth. He taught that we should not let wealth control our minds. Wealth itself is not the problem, it is how we relate to it. The solution lies in contentment. A truly wealthy person is not the one who has the most, but the one who feels content with what they have. A truly successful person is not the one who accumulates riches, but the one who can live peacefully, free from attachment. A truly happy person is not the one who gets everything they want, but the one who appreciates what they already have. Seeing wealth with the eyes of wisdom, let your material possessions be a tool to help others, not a burden that enslaves you. When you are no longer bound by wealth, you discover true freedom, the freedom of a mind that no longer depends on external things for fulfillment. When you achieve this, no one can take away your sense of contentment. No one can judge or criticize you for what you own, because your true wealth comes from within. Principle 7. View failure as a stepping stone. When criticized for failure, it is natural to feel hurt, angry, or insecure. However, you can train your mind to remain unaffected. This does not mean completely ignoring all feedback, but rather learning to receive criticism with wisdom without allowing it to shake your inner peace. The truth is, you cannot please everyone. In life, no matter what you do, there will always be those who praise you and those who criticize you. That does not mean you are wrong or that you have failed. It is simply their opinion. Practice exercise. When someone criticizes you, remind yourself, their words are just their opinion, not the absolute truth about me. You may have failed at something, but that does not mean you are a failure. Failure is just an event, not your identity. When you feel criticized, remind yourself, I am not my failure. I am learning and growing from it. Criticism can be a tool for self-reflection and growth. However, not all criticism is valid or valuable. If the criticism is constructive, learn from it. If the criticism is negative and intended to attack, let it go. If someone deliberately criticizes you to hurt you, the best way to neutralize them is not to react emotionally. When criticized, instead of responding with anger or defensiveness, reply calmly, "Thank you for sharing your perspective. I will think about that. You may be right. I will consider it." When you do not react harshly, the critic loses the motivation to continue attacking you. The most important thing is that you understand your own path and do not let criticism steer you off course. Principle 8. Contemplate mortality. Reflecting on death is not pessimistic. It is a reminder to live more fully. When we deeply understand impermanence and the reality of death, we begin to see that criticism and judgment from others hold far less significance than we once believed. Ask yourself, if I only had 1 year left to live, would I allow these judgments to hurt me? The truth is, all of us will one day leave this world, and when that moment comes, the opinions and criticisms of others will no longer matter. If you only had a short time left, you would undoubtedly choose to live fully, rather than waste your precious time feeling burdened by someone else's words. When someone criticizes you, remind yourself, in a year, in 5 years, will this still matter? If not, why should I let it affect me now? The people who judge you are also facing impermanence, struggling with their own fears, insecurities, and limitations. Sometimes, criticism is not about you being wrong, but about them projecting their own pain and uncertainties onto you. They, like you, are simply human beings trying to find meaning in this fleeting life. When you recognize this, you will see that there is no reason to carry their words in your heart. Ask yourself, when I leave this world, what will truly matter? Do I want to spend my life worrying about what others think, or do I want to live authentically? Each time you are judged, remember, I do not live to please everyone. I live to fully experience life in the most authentic way possible. When you understand that life is finite, you will no longer allow trivial judgments to derail you. You will live with freedom, serenity, and wisdom, no longer weighed down by things that do not truly matter. You can practice this starting today. When criticized, take a deep breath and view it through the lens of impermanence. Ask yourself, does this really matter when I face the reality of death? Remind yourself, life is too short to waste energy on meaningless opinions. When you internalize this perspective, no one can shake your peace, because you understand that what truly matters is not the words of others, but how you live each moment of your life to its fullest. Now take a deep breath. Reflect on everything we've explored today. We live in a world where opinions are loud, judgment is quick, and negativity often feels inescapable. But remember this, criticism only has power over you if you give it power. Other people's words do not define your worth, you do. You are not your failures, not your past, and certainly not the opinions of others. When you embrace these 8 Buddhist principles, you learn to rise above personal attacks without bitterness, without anger, and without losing yourself in the noise. You let go of hate because you understand that resentment only poisons your own heart. You embrace humility, knowing that true strength comes not from ego, but from wisdom. You take control of your life, no longer letting others dictate your happiness. You listen deeply, responding with clarity instead of reacting with pain. You accept impermanence, realizing that nothing, neither praise nor blame, lasts forever. You detach from materialism, knowing that real wealth is peace of mind. You see failure as a stepping stone rather than a reason to give up. And you contemplate mortality, understanding that time is too precious to be wasted on meaningless negativity. You have the power to free yourself. You have the choice to rise above. And once you truly internalize this, you will experience a level of peace and strength that nothing and no one can shake. So the next time someone criticizes you, insults you, or judges you, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, does this define me? Will this matter in 5 years? Am I going to let this control my emotions? If the answer is no, smile and let it go. Because when you master the art of letting go, you are no longer just surviving in the storm, you are the calm within it. Thank you for joining Mindful Healing on this journey of self-discovery and resilience. If this video resonated with you, let us know in the comments. Which of these Buddhist principles spoke to you the most? Have you ever struggled with criticism? How did you handle it? And if you found value in this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this wisdom with someone who needs it. Until next time, stay mindful, stay peaceful, and remember, your inner world is yours to protect.